Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is David, this is David K Reacts, and here on this channel I ramble with articulation, I hope, about a variety of musical video and audio elements that I pull from the videos that I watch. And today is a rather special day because today is the second channel anniversary of me being a reactor analyzer here on YouTube, and that's really exciting. I did not really clock until recently that I was coming up on 2 years, and in some ways it feels like it's been 5, and I mean that in a good way. And in others, it feels like I started yesterday. And I kind of had an interesting experience, because a couple of months ago now, I think, I watched my very first video back, which was my more of a reaction then, and it kind of accidentally turned into an analysis of VoicePlay's A Chance to Fly, their Wicked medley. And it's amazing to me, A, that was so long ago, and B, how different my style is now and how much more sort of confident I am in sort of discussing this stuff and putting forward ideas and concepts on this channel, because I had no idea. It wasn't really a planned video back then, so I don't really know what I was doing. But of note, I also had no idea who VoicePlay were, because I'd never seen them before. This was my first time seeing them as a group. I didn't know who anybody was, and I realized that my analysis now would be a lot more comprehensive. And so I was trying to think what to do for a second anniversary video, and what I decided on is I am going to reanalyze A Chance to Fly. I'm going to look at it again. I didn't end up watching much of my analysis. The idea came to me kind of 5 minutes into the analysis, and I thought, you know what? This would be something fun to do. Now that I know who the group is, now that I know what their various abilities are, let's go back and watch this again and analyze it the way that I would now. Also, my sound quality has improved. I have a significantly better microphone. Lots of things are better now. And so I figured, why not? Let's have another look at this video that kind of started everything. So that's what I'm going to do. There is no reaction in this video. I have reacted to this before. If you would like to see the reaction, there's going to be a card up here to my original video for this. Please go and check that out. If for some reason you have not heard VoicePlay's A Chance to Fly, check my description down below and you will see a link to the original. Do have a look at that. But yeah, you're not going to get the wow moments of Jeff hitting subharmonics because I've heard them. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's going to be a wow moment, but it's not going to be surprise and shock because I know what's coming. I've seen this, I've listened to it many, many times since. So this is going to be very, very much the analysis version of this, but it will hopefully bring some things to light that I missed the last time that I watched this. So yeah, that's about all I have to say, because we know what's coming. I know this video. So I'm just simply going to say welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time here. If it is, this is not my usual kind of video. Firstly, check that video out that I put up there a few minutes ago. That will show you my original reaction and analysis to this. That also isn't quite what the channel is, because it was the first video I ever did and it was unplanned. You'll hear me talk about it in that video. I was not expecting I recorded it with the idea that if it went well, it would go on YouTube. And it was mostly done for a friend, and it went well, so I put it on YouTube. Neither of these is sort of standard fare, but that video is substantially more like what I do. This one is purely analysis because, as I've already explained, this is me going back to something I have covered before. Please do like this video, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and if you would care to support the channel, especially on its second anniversary, you could do so by heading to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, to patreon.com/DavidKReacts, or leaving a super thanks here on YouTube, and any of those would be gratefully appreciated if you would care to do so. That's about all I have to say. We're going to jump into this video, and I am going to see what I can bring out. And there may be repetition. As I said, I did not watch the analysis. I decided I was going to go back into this and reanalyze it from the ground up. So it's possible that I might repeat myself. That's just par for the course, because I'm coming at this and I'm going to try and bring out everything that I see. So if I make some of the comments that I've made before, don't be surprised. Sorry, momentary cut there. I had forgotten to put my phone on silent and somebody rang me. Yeah, this is VoicePlay featuring Rachel Potter and Emily Wilkins. or Imani Wilkins, I'm still not 100% certain on that pronunciation, with a chance to fly. And first things first out of the gate, I'm going to talk about the fact that we immediately get a green-washed screen. The green light that's going on here, of course, the signature color of Wicked. So it makes complete sense. For those who haven't come across Wicked for any reason, it was a novel. It was made into a musical. It's about to be a movie that tells the story of how the Wicked Witch of the West, who was a misunderstood, troubled student, who was extremely powerful and was manipulated by others, became the Wicked Witch of the West. It's a marvelous musical. I highly recommend you see it if you have the opportunity to do so. I saw it many, many times. My cousin was Elphaba on the West End for a while. And so I went and saw her a lot. And it's one of my favourite shows. It was at the time, it still is today. I haven't listened to the cast recording for quite some time now, but I absolutely adore this show. And so green, of course, the colour of the Wicked Witch of the West, is the perfect colour to start this thing with. And so it's a very, very logical beginning to this, but it also really sets a mood. Just getting that straight out the gate. There's so much green. A little bit of blue contrast. I like that we have the kind of lighter colour on the side of Caesar's face. It gives us a little bit of contrast going on here, but of course, overwhelmingly one colour, and that makes total sense.
Nothing grows for the wicked, they reap only what they've sown.
That camera move, is gorgeous, because look how we go from predominantly green with a little bit of blue to predominantly blue with a little bit of green. Obviously, there's a lighting change going on here as well, but that move is fantastic. It gives such an interesting shift for the first sort of camera motion and lighting state of this video, and as soon as I watched this again, of course I wasn't as used when I did this originally. I wasn't as used to or as familiar with the idea of pulling out lighting and things like that, because that wasn't remotely what I was concentrating on, never having heard VoicePlay before. But now that I look back on it, there's some wonderful work in this.
Only what they've sown.
It's also just worth pointing out that knowing now what a sort of comedian Caesar is, I love that we start on such a serious note from him. It's really, really good. And then we get this cut to this fantastic wide shot. I love that we have Theatre World, I assume, written on the back there, on the backcloth that's going. This clock is such a magnificent sort of thing to have behind them. It's got such visual interest, but it doesn't pull away from them in any way. It's just intriguing. And their sets are always so carefully chosen, and I think this is a really, really good example. We also have lots of green again, predominantly, sort of coming in from the sides. You see the smoke machine has kind of given it the clouds behind, but also these four lights on either side. I love that they leave them in shot. It kind of gives it a slightly concerty vibe, because you would see the lights on stage. They're not trying to hide them, and they don't in a lot of their videos, and I really, really like that. There is nothing wrong with seeing light sources on stage, and I think it's very, very effective what they do here with just having those behind as points of highlight behind them. And I love that we see them for the first time in silhouette. It's very, very effective. We don't have clarity of what's going on. The clearest point is the center of the clock behind, with that very warm orange light. And I think that that's a really interesting choice. We get some clarity on Caesar, but even then, he's not well lit because of the colors that are being used. We can see all the definition on his face, but it's not bright. It's not like we're seeing him clearly, and we're not getting that now either. We start on this very, very silhouette hidden shot. What I do like as well, and I know Jeff spent years working on this arrangement, and the detailing that he puts into this shows, I do enjoy the fact that we have that do kind of vibe coming from the most of them, where it's got this very, very simple rhythm, but underneath it we have this lovely do-do-do-do-do. It's very, very mobile bass line that's just giving us some real harmonic interest. Because he's moving around so much, it changes the ear's perception of anything that's going on above it. And I really, really enjoy that.
No one mourns the wicked, no one cries they won't return, no one lays a lily on the grave.
Lovely stuff here as well. I really, really enjoy what we've got going on harmonically. There's lots of interest. It gives complete focus to Caesar's line, but there's so much going on underneath this. Hard work going on to keep that harmonic support in place. And what I do enjoy...
No one cries, they won't
there's this really, really... They're not just focusing on the sounds that they're making, this it's not too intrusive as a sound, but you have this lovely swell and fall back again. There's a lot going on underneath that is working really, really hard to stay out of Caesar's way, but also to be a point of genuine interest. You could focus on that harmony, and it's cool to listen to. It's not being ignored, but at the same time, it is not standing in the way of the melody line that's going on here.
No one lays a lily on the grave.
Great work there. I love that we have this swell that pushes through. Grave, the one word that finally gets sung by everybody. Grave. What's the... Grave, the good man. And we come back in on Ellie. We've led up to his line by that harmonic shift upwards on Grave. We push right into it. It's so smooth. The transitions in this as a whole are really, really smooth, and if they're not, it's done for effect. They're always good at transitions, but I do feel like the ones in this are particularly strong.
No one lays a lily on the grave. The good man scores on the grave.
This is the thing. I don't know how many times I've listened to this over the last 2 years. It's a lot. And that's the first time I've noticed that growl in Caesar's voice at the end. Grave! That little as he comes off that push there. This is what I love about VoicePlay. The more you listen to them, the more you hear. And years later, probably a couple of hundred listens later, I'm still picking up things that I haven't heard.
The lily on the grave. The good man scorns the wicked. Through the lives our children learn.
Again, this lovely enunciation. The good man scorns the wicked. Ooh. That kid really quickly off that in the harmony line. Really, really interesting rhythm that they're actually using there underneath this. It's a little bit more... It catches your ear more because it's so abrupt. And I like that. It's giving a little bit more context. We understand what they're doing now. They can afford to do a little more with their harmony, and they're still not going to get in Ellie's way, which is great. And I really, really like that. This evolution, I will always talk about evolution in VoicePlay videos because they are so good at it. Their progression throughout as they gradually up the ante in the song, fantastic stuff.
And scores the wicked. Through the lives our children learn. Oh, what we miss when we misbehave. And goodness knows.
That harmonic change going through there, leading into Imani's solo, is so beautiful.
Through the lives our children learn. Oh, what we miss.
Whoa, whoa, that little shift back up. We've changed immediately because it's not this sound.
Through the lives our children learn.
Even after that, back down again into a more quiet sound. And then this whoa, whoa is a pickup in the vocal quality that we're getting from the chorus.
Oh, what we miss when we misbehave.
Those chords there, the have, so full of anticipation. We know we're going to go somewhere with this. We know there's a key change coming up. It's built into that harmonic progression, and I love that we use that leading into this. And as we do, we get this beautiful color change to the light blues and sort of purpley pinks. It's an immediate shift. We know the tone has changed. We've gone from, even though it's, you know, Caesar and Ellie, they are high voices, but they're also, you know, definably male voices. And so as we shift to Imani and we get a different vocal quality coming out, we also shift the lighting behind. Great stuff. And we also get a change in Lane's percussion as well. He opens up a little bit more. These little shifts that just indicate that we have moved on is what I feel like VoicePlay is so good at doing. Again, this lovely, lovely moment here. I'm listening a lot more to the harmony for just for these opening moments, because I think the harmony in this particular song in the medley is really, really interesting. Notice how alone is separate. It is alone. The wicked die alone. Oh, sorry. Goodness knows, alone. But the wicked die is left to Imani to sing, which means when alone comes in the harmony, it has that sense of isolation about it, which is so lovely. I enjoy. I'm going to go back. There's going to be a lot of me going back, because there's so much more for me to talk about than I was aware of back in the day. So just fair warning. You've probably gathered that by now, but I'm stating it for the record. The change, alone. She closes off that sound. She makes it sound more alone simply by the vowel that she is singing at any given. Alone would have been a much more kind of inclusive sound. It's maybe a bit more punchy, but there's something about the alone. Doesn't it feel like it's kind of like it's becoming sadder? It's pulling back. It's being more reserved. It's such a lovely change for that word and for that concept. Also, how hard Jeff is working underneath. Like, he's doing so much in all of this. I love this little... like little moves like that. There's a lot of shifting going on in the bass line of this, and again, there's so much happening. It's easy to miss little details like this. Imani's working really, really hard to give us this beautiful line. It's so soulful. It's very easy to focus on that and just sort of get swept up in it and miss what's going on underneath. But there's a lot of stuff happening underneath. Again, great walking bass. Oh, these oohs underneath Jeff right here. Absolutely gorgeous. Listen to the second chord. That ooh, ooh. It just, everything shifts very slightly, and it goes from this kind of jazzy chord to something a little bit more crunchy. It's such a small shift, but it's kind of, there's something so sort of about that chord, if that makes any sense. Just these subtle moves underneath of... Like, I can see why this arrangement took Jeff so long. There isn't a note out of place in the whole thing. It's so, so well done. Again, this lovely what they sow just falls off it into nothing, making way for the good news to come in at that point in time. And again, transitions in this, you either get these really, really smooth ones, or you get ones that are more abrupt for effect. And I think this is remarkably smooth, shifting from here. Yeah, it's a hard change to the next song, but it doesn't sound out of place. It's been set up by the work that they've just done leading into it, and I think that's really, really impressive. Again, lovely lighting shift. We've got this lovely teal behind us right now, and we get into much more yellows as we shift into this next section.
Good news.
And they keep the consistency. This is what I think is so interesting here. We get this shift into the yellow directly behind, which gives us a much brighter color directly behind them, a much warmer color. But the teal goes from the center to the outside. We still have it side lighting everybody. So there is visual consistency there because that color hasn't gone away. It's made space for a warmer light behind them, but it hasn't gone away. Really, really nice stuff.
Good news. Good news.
Those two lines are so good. And I love that they bookend each other. Good news, good news. Not the notes, obviously. But we have one person climbing up, one person coming down again. It's great because it's giving us an introduction, but it's also closing it off. It's going up and it's going down and we're done. Lovely, lovely stuff.
When I meet the wizard, once I prove my worth.
I love that we've got these little bits of subtle riff in Rachel's line here. She's got little just passing notes and things like that. It gives this such a lot of interest. It's a great song anyway, but she's adding these little extra bits and they're so subtle it doesn't intrude at all on the melody, but there's a lot more to this when you really listen to it.
Once I prove my worth.
My worth. Little things like that, and she does it so smoothly. There's no push, no effort that goes into that. There's a lot of effort that goes into it, but she makes it come across so effortless, just like all the rest of this. And it's just really, really lovely to hear that amount of detail in the melody line.
And then I'll meet the wizard, what I've waited for since birth. He'll say to me, I see who you truly are, a girl on whom I...
This fascinates me. I really, really like the harmonic interest in the line that we have here. So we have...
what I've waited for since birth.
with the shifts that we've got going on here underneath, we have this and they've kind of, this is a slightly more open sound than we've had. It feels like it's going to push onto feels like it's going to push onto somewhere else, but then we suddenly get this pullback. It becomes slightly less harmonically involved for a moment. We get the bass line, we get the percussion, Jeff and Lane, but then it's just Rachel on her
He'll
own.
say to me, I see who you truly are, a girl on whom I can rely.
And it's so interesting, that moment of he'll say to me, I see who you truly are. That declaration of I see you. You are, this is Elphaba who is singing, the Wicked Witch of the West, and what she has sought in her life is somebody to see beyond the green skin, somebody to see her for the witch that she is, the powerful individual, to help her control her power and become a better person, and somebody who knows herself and is appreciated for who she is rather than being judged for who she appears to be, all that sort of thing. And so that line is so important. He'll say to me, I see who you truly are. It's very, very much this, it kind of mirrors the Wizard of Oz in many ways, of I want to get to the point where I meet the Wizard of Oz and he will be great and he will do this amazing thing for me, which is to see me for a good person and a powerful witch and not as this person who looks different. And it's such a great line, and I love that for that line specifically, everything drops back, and it's the entire focus. There's bass, there's percussion, there's the rhythm section, effectively, continuing on, keeping our pace in the song, but everything else drops back to make way for that line to take center stage for a moment, and that's so good.
You truly are a girl on whom I can rely.
And then immediately, a girl on who I can rely. The harmony comes back in again and fills in a little bit, and it's that sense of togetherness that comes back in again. I see you, let's work together. Really, really nice.
You truly are a girl on whom I can rely, and that's how we'll begin. The wizard and I.
I talked in the original video, this was one of the things I picked up on that I think is so great. Dancing Through Life is this very kind of cool song performed by Fiyero, who is the love interest in the show. At this point in time, you know, he's the unwinnable heartthrob type character. He doesn't know who Elphaba is. She sees him, and he's just being this cool guy who comes into the club and takes command of the stage. And I love that we have this lead up here. So that's how we'll begin, The Wizard and I. We have this lead up, and it's kind of all working in concert with how Rachel is singing, how Elphaba is feeling in this moment. And then Ellie comes in as Fiyero with this punchy riff. Like, this is sort of the conventional melody kind of beat. They're doing their own thing with it. But the wizard, and I, you know, there's nothing different about that. But this excuse my out of tuneness, that comes in out of nowhere is such an interruption, and it's exactly what Fiyero would do. He is that cocky and that kind of listen to me type character when he comes in at the beginning of the show.
The wizard and I.
It's also just a beautiful riff. Really, really love the lighting that we hit into here. It kind of gives that nightclub type vibe that it's not quite what is happening in the show, but it's perfect for the song.
Life, skimming the surface, gliding where turf is smooth.
Everything happening in the chorus here is stuff that I missed when I watched it originally because I was so busy trying to figure out what on earth was happening. You know, what was this magic that was hitting my ears? But so much good stuff here.
Dancing through life, skimming the surface, gliding where
this climbing line, I know they don't hit that many notes, but just subtly underneath, just giving this lovely upward lift to what's being sung here.
turf is smooth.
And then you get this quote, there's so many quotes in this, the wizard and I, but with this time with crunchy chords. It's not that same simple melody. This is something a little more complicated going on underneath. It's like there's some sort of conflict has entered. It's not aggressive. It's not, you know, it's crunchy in a jazzy way. It's not crunchy in a dissonant way. It's dissonant, sure, but it's not like we're getting minor seconds that clash with each other. There's something about this that you can latch onto.
Gliding where turf is smooth.
Life's more painless for the brainless. Why think too hard when it's so soon?
Oh, there's so much in here that's beautiful. Ellie's line. I'll probably end up talking a lot more about harmony in this because I've already covered how amazing they are. But Ellie's line here is so smooth. I love the quality that he's got in his voice here. He's such a chameleon with going between like rock god Ellie and super clean like pop Ellie. You know, it's wonderful the variety that he's got in his voice, and what he does here is fantastic.
Dancing through life, skimming the surface, gliding where turf is smooth.
Life's more painless for the brainless. Why think too?
Even this thing, for the brainless, the chords that they shift through in all of this, we're setting up such an sort of interesting harmony underneath. It's rich. Like we're singing for the brainless, you know, like it's life's painless for the brainless. Why, you know, don't fuss about everything. And yet there's so much happening underneath. This isn't brainless harmony at all. This is really, really involved harmony. And I think I really, really like that counterpoint against the lyric that's being sung of here's this complexity underneath. Great stuff.
Life's more painless for the brainless. Why think too hard when it's so soothing?
And this, you get this beautiful note from Jeff coming out here, which really started to, you know, this is when I started to really sit up and pay attention, I think, in the original video. But if you listen to the harmony over the top of it, This lovely slide that's going there. And it could easily slide into it and have a really, really beautiful tonic triad going on there. But we come back into this punchy, now the song's going, and we come back into a different tone. I love it.
When it's so soothing.
Dancing through life, no need to tough it when you can slough it off as I do.
And we've kind of got, there's more of a kind of club type beat going on here. The harmony is so much more withdrawn at this point, and I think that's really, really interesting.
Tough it when you can slough it off as
And I love Rachel's performance here, where she's just kind of enraptured by Fiyero. With Elphaba just seeing this beautiful man having this very carefree lifestyle, which is exactly the opposite. She's had to be careful of her power. She's had to be self-conscious of the fact that she's green. This is such a lovely moment. There are so many moments in voice play videos, and this one is no exception, of this beautiful character acting, and Rachel, I think, is one of their best guests for this. Her character acting in her videos is on point all the time.
I do. Nothing matters, but knowing nothing matters.
And there we start again. I think I missed this one entirely. When I meet the wizard. Underneath that first line of When I meet the wizard from The Wizard and I, but in a much more uncertain tone. Really love that.
Off as I do. Nothing matters, but knowing nothing matters. It's just life, so keep dancing through.
And so interesting, When I Meet the Wizard, this character who she has just spent time saying, I'm going to meet him and he's going to see me for who I am, and, he's going to fix everything. And over there, nothing matters but knowing nothing matters is the line that's sung on top. Be free, don't care about anything. And it's two extremes. This obsession with a single person who will solve your problems, and this obsession with ignoring your problems. And I love that we're getting that dichotomy in the two lines that are happening at the same time there. It's wonderful stuff.
Nothing matters, it's just life, so keep dancing through. Dancing through, yeah.
And I love, I didn't catch how early Popular starts getting hinted at, but this line,
Keep dancing through.
la 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 la, is a Popular line reharmonized. And I didn't catch that even now we're knowing what song is coming next. And this is what I mean about smooth transitions. This is being set up already here, so that when we now go into Imani's more prominent kind of, it pushes through a little bit more leading into this. La 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 la. It could come off as brash and cutting through, but it's been set up. And even if you don't know the music, you've already been set up to know that you're going somewhere else. Really, really nice stuff.
Don't be offended by my break analysis. Think of it as personality dialysis.
A lovely moment there as well. Firstly, I love that we shift to Pink. This is Glinda, the good witch, who is singing, who is the complete antithesis. She starts this whole thing. You've probably seen trailers for the movie, if nothing else. But she starts this whole thing being very superior. She's the almost sort of Mean Girl-esque type of, everything's got to be perfect around me, and, oh my goodness, I couldn't possibly share a room with her, she's green, and all this sort of thing. And this is her saying, actually, no, you know what? We are going to be friends, and I'm going to fix you. I am going to make you look and be popular. But this shift to Pink is such a perfect sort of representation of her character, and this sort of, it's not white good light yet, it's this kind of pink for this obsessive, sort of character that she is at the beginning of the show, and I really, really like that choice. And again, Imani kills this. This is some of my favorite lyric writing in the show. The comedy that comes through in this song is fantastic.
Offended by my break analysis. Think of it as personality dialysis.
And I love that we have moments here. So where we've previously had moments where just the bass and the percussion are there, the rhythm section, here it drops out.
Think of it as personality diet.
And actually, Ellie and Caesar are keeping up this harmony, and Jeff and Lane have just stopped singing entirely. So much, it keeps so much interest in the whole arrangement because we're getting variety as we go through the song. Great stuff.
Now that I've chosen to become a palace, divisor, there's nobody wiser. Oh,
Such good stuff. I love that we have the harmony as well under here. This dum, dum. It's such a lovely rhythm to have underneath. So, very musical theatre in many ways. Really, really like that. I love how panicked Rachel looks about this whole thing.
Not when it comes to popular.
The choice to speak that too is really, really nice. It fits the character. It's kind of usually what's done on stage, if I remember correctly. It's been I say I've seen it a lot. It's been a while since I've seen it. But I love the depth that's sort of not when it comes to. There's a confidence in the tone in her voice, which I really, really like.
I know about popular, and with Venice.
I always forget about the Lane popping bubbles. But I love that we have this la 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 la. What so fascinates me in this is we get a different vibe for every song. It feels so cohesive, but we haven't had a la 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 moment yet. And it fits so well. It's great stuff.
I know about popular, and with Venice is from me to be who you be instead of dreary who you are. Well, are.
There's so much. Like there's a lot of variety in vocal sound, both in terms of the vowels they're singing, in terms of how long and short notes are being kept. Even the la 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 la, that moment of holding that seventh note on over the eighth, giving it a little bit more. They're not leaving it as a sharp gap. They're leaving it as a bit more of a drift. Really, really nice stuff. And it's kind of giving us a percussion in the vocal harmony as well, in a way that I really, really like. And it kind of enhances the playfulness of this song really well.
To be who you be instead of dreary who you are. Well, are. There's nothing that
And the choice to have going on as she does that well are is really, really smart.
can stop you from becoming popular.
And I love the sneaky bass note from Jeff if you're not paying attention there.
There's nothing that can stop you from.
Oh, also, this was what I meant to go back on. How close together and crunchy this harmony is over Nothing That Can Stop You.
Instead of dreary who you are. Well, are. There's nothing that can stop you from becoming popular.
Lovely stuff. Lane's... I always makes me laugh. It's such a great sound, and it really enhances kind of the silliness of this. And there we get again. One Short Day creeps in behind. One short day in the Emerald City.
Becoming popular.
And it's snuck in so well because it fits perfectly with the harmony that's going on. You focus on Imani singing the la 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 la, which is Glinda's line at that point in time, and it's just this beautiful little undercut of having a different song behind. I love that so much. And there it happens again, but this time you can't miss. The first time you could let it go by, you could maybe even not notice it was even happening. But this time it's right there, right in your face. You can't miss it. Fantastic stuff.
Just not quite as popular.
The little do-do-do, the bell chord that's there is so lovely. We've established that we're moving on from the playfulness, but the do-do-do, the do, that sort of sound, it kind of gives it a tiny bit of playfulness, but we're holding these notes on now. We're kind of changing the tone already.
You'll be popular, just not quite as popular as me.
Yes. And I love this harmony coming up to this too.
Quite as popular
Wow, wow.
as me.
And there's a lovely note here as well, and it took me ages to pick this up. By the way, I love that we're color shifting at this point. We've got the bubbles, we've got the background that the center light is pulsing slightly between colors. It's fantastic, and we've kind of moved away from that pink now. We've got this more involved relationship, so it's not just this pink obsessive Glinda color. There's a lovely line that it's so daft, but she puts a pink flower into Elphaba's hair, and she stands back. She goes, "Pink goes good with green." But I love that we've kind of moved past that moment here. This harmony here, so you get the la 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 la. There's it's not quite those notes, but there's a bell chord underneath that's so subtle. And that chord fills out as we go through it. Absolutely fantastic. And now we come on to one of the most divisive songs in the show, which is wonderful, which I personally love. I really do. I would love to play the wizard one day. That's kind of like, I'm not really a performer anymore, but this was one of the roles where I was like, I'd really like to do that. This song got me into drama school. This was my audition song. And so it has a special place for me, I think. And I also just like the vibe. I think this is I like these kind of bouncy, swingy songs that you get, and this is a really, really good example for me. And I love that we see... This is such a great shot to open this, that we have Jeff. Traditionally, you look into frame on a camera. If someone's teaching you, photography basics or something like that, you want to be like this. You want I'm gauging slightly. You want the head to be about a third of the way into frame, and the person is looking into it so that the open space is in front of them. So what we have here is we have Jeff looking off screen, and it leaves this big open space behind him, which is a slightly more unsettling shot, right? He's also a bit far off screen. He's kind of more like a quarter of the way onto the screen. And so there's this big empty space behind him. And I love that it kind of, what fills that space? Because it's not the great and powerful Oz, right? And I really like that suggestion. It's such an interesting shot to move to.
'Cause it feels wonderful.
And we slide back into frame again. Really nice camera movement there. Great stuff. And then we pop back to this. We've got now a warmer blue, not that cold teal that we had before, and the yellow. This very kind of confidence-building colours.
'Cause it feels wonderful. They think I'm wonderful. Hey, look who's wonderful. This confetti.
I love so much the rhythm that is happening underneath this. I'm going to talk about Jeff in a second, but
Who's wonderful? They think I'm
you got this lovely dum dum hoo hoo kind of thing that's going on.
wonderful. Hey, look who's wonderful.
Hey, look who's wonderful. It's this lovely syncopated rhythm. So over the top of this, you have this very simple rhythm for the melody. Hey, look who's wonderful, this corn-fed hick. It's all on beat. There's nothing, sure, maybe not on beat one or something like that, but it's a fairly da type rhythm, and so they've got this lovely harmonic rhythm going on underneath.
This confetti. Who said it might?
Again, lovely bell chord. This corn-fed bum bum bum. Really, really nice stuff. And again, they're keeping it playful, because this is another very playful song in a very different way. And you don't feel like this feels the same as Popular. It's a very, very different sound that they've got going on right now. But I love how light they've kept it.
Wonderful, this confetti. Who said it might be keen to build a town of green and
And what I didn't understand here, of course, because I hadn't seen VoicePlay before, is we're getting such a great demonstration of Jeff's range. We get demonstration of everybody's range in this, but I love this shift.
wonderful,
This confetti. And he just drops right down. We just change register totally. So unexpected if you don't know Jeff's voice. If you do, it's not so surprising, but it's still such a good demonstration of his voice.
It might be keen to build a town of green and a wonderful road of yellow brick.
And again, these lovely, lovely lines in the harmony.
Might be keen to build a town
And we have this same thing going on.
of green. And
Town of Green, Town of Green. Very musical theatre, very, very kind of typical sound that we've got going on there, but it fills out this nice rich harmony underneath.
full road of yellow.
And this full road, it's kind of a little bit more uncertain. It's leading somewhere, but there's something about the beginning of that.
Town of green and a wonderful road.
It's the I think, is a little bit more close together. It's a little bit less open than we were just going. We've pulled back again, and road fills us back out. There's this lovely kind of push and pull in the harmony, and it's creating such an interest going on underneath.
Yellow brick.
And there, I love that we have the shift in the characterization that's going on here. And I love that we switched to Imani for that whoa, because now we're kind of getting into the Madame Morrible territory, who is the headmaster of Shiz University, where Glinda and Elphaba go, but she's also sort of the militant arm of the wizard, essentially. So where he's like, she's too powerful, she can't, she's not bending to my will, we've got to stop her. Madame Morrible turns around and denounces her in front of everybody. And so the fact that we have this total shift, it feels like a slap in the face, and it should do, because the wizard completely changes direction at this point in the show. And Morrible goes out and says, no, go, hunt her, take her down. She's escaped. She's too powerful. We can't let her keep going, and all this sort of thing. She believes in the wrong things and all this sort of thing. And so I love that we just have this abrupt shift, this tonal change. We've got these dark pink to red lights coming on as well. The blue's still there, kind of, it's a little bit of a warm color, maybe representing the sort of cohesion between the mob that's forming here. Lovely stuff.
And hunt her and find her and kill her. Kill the witch and hunt her and find her and kill
And this is it's great, because this is absolutely the furor that was incited within them. Sorry, momentary break there. I did not realize some stuff on the edge of my desk and it all fell off. There's a great sense here of the kind of discontent that's been incited in the crowd at this point in time. So you get this lovely "kill the witch" from Caesar, which, this is what happens. Crowds build, and they build to a boiling point. And I love that you have this kind of from Jeff, what? And the little, maybe going a little far here, but it makes sense. It's comic. It's a funny moment, but it also makes sense for the character. Like for the wizard at that moment, to be kind of looking at this and going, yeah, this escalated really fast. And has maybe gone a little bit further than I was anticipating it would do. Like, it's very, very credible as a shift in mood, and I really, really like that.
and kill her. Kill the witch and hunt her and find her and kill her. Wickedness.
And then we get this lovely, we've built through this, and then that "kill her" from Imani that comes through at that point in time has so much kind of, it cuts through everything that you're hearing and gives us a fantastic lead into "Wickedness Must Be Punished." Really, really nice stuff.
And find her and kill her. Wickedness must be punished. Whoa, effectively.
Oh, lovely stuff. I missed this again before. I caught the whoa, 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 which is great, but then this fall from Ellie straight after.
Must be punished. Whoa, effectively.
Whoa, that's going on behind there. Just a lovely moment, and it's another great example that they're scattered throughout this video of something interesting going on that doesn't detract from all the awesomeness that's going on, to the point where you don't necessarily hear it on a first listen or a 10th listen. It was a while before I caught that. because it fits in so well, and I think it's just another example of the master craftsmanship that's gone into this arrangement. There's some lovely work there with the effectively eliminated. Evil effective. If is it up to effect? Yeah, evil is just Imani. Effect adds Jeff in. Tively, and then on eliminated we bring in the harmony. But I love that you have this evil effectively, and as Jeff goes down to that point, you get this real pull-in of the involvement of the group. So much going on in these moments. I love it. It's great. And also eliminate. And it's just down in Jeff's low notes. Really, really cool way of kind of creating a little bit of a vocal break before everything comes back in again. And then his bass line is like it's total shift. Ah, this is just incredible, the work that goes on here. One person I haven't mentioned in all of this, by the way, is Lane. Lane's work throughout this, I mean, I know I mentioned his name a couple of times, but not like as a focal point. His work throughout this is astonishingly good. I mean, he's so consistent, always so on point. And there's so much happening in this, it's easy to kind of gloss over exactly how well he is holding everything together. And his percussion, I really like his choice of percussion sounds in this. As we shift from song to song to song, he'll adjust the sounds that he's making, and it is so clean. Really, really like that. And I think this is a particularly good example. I really like the stuff that he's doing in this particular song. I love this kill the witch, kill the witch, kill the witch. Lots and lots of stuff going on here. Notice in the harmony when they do the kill the witch, this very tight, dissonant, like I think it's a major second maybe. Right there, that witch that's being held between sort of Ellie and Rachel and Caesar maybe. Really, really tight harmony there that does feel uncomfortable. It's supporting, but it's supporting in a different way to a lot of the harmony that we've had. The tone of this, it is aggressive. It is unsettling. It does make you feel like this is a bad thing that's happening here. Lovely stuff. Really, really nice stuff. I love that we have this. I hope you're happy now that you're choosing this. I hope it brings you bliss. That happens still in the tone of No Good Deed. Really, really nice sort of feel there of when we then shift to this moment. It feels like such a punch changing to this. I will come back to the lighting in a second because that's also beautiful. But it is that aggressive. It is that much of a tonal shift at that point in time. But that's fine. I hope you're happy now that you're choosing this. I hope it brings you bliss. It's sung in quite a caring tone in the show, but it could just as easily be, oh, I hope you're happy. Fine, now that this is what you're doing. I hope this makes you happy. It could have that feel, and I like that that's kind of what we get from this. It's a nice read on it, and I really like that. And then you get this snap shift out of this aggressive red light, this powerful vocal. All of a sudden, everything pulls back.
I hope it brings you bliss.
And this shot right here, I love so much. It sets the tone immediately for what's coming. We've gone back to that teal light again, but it's only coming from one direction. We're not backlit anymore. The backcloth isn't lit anymore. We've just got this, it feels like one light. It's probably a couple just to kind of get the brightness, but what a shift. And this right here is mood lighting, right? Oh, and that choice there to have this rich, those two chords, beautiful harmony, and then just right back. Two voices singing in unison for a moment. Oh, that is magic.
I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason.
Ah, and I love that they clear so much space for that whole line. I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason. And then the harmony comes in. It just, again, that moment of letting Imani get the point across. Really, really lovely stuff.
Into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are.
And it's such a simple thing. It's just that one chord, and then off again.
Bringing something we must learn, and we are.
It's just brilliant. It's such a simple lead in to where we're going with this song, and it just gives us that moment of oh, this one's gonna hit home. It's really, really, really smart arranging here. It just keeps that line so bare. It keeps that emotion raw, which is how it should feel, right? This is right before the end of the show, and it's an extremely powerful moment where it's like Elphaba knows she doesn't have a choice at this point. She's going to become the person that she's been sort of made into by the things that have happened to her, and she's not going to see Glinda again in the same way. And so this shifts, and it's just wow.
Bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most to grow. If we
and this simple thing of then we get Caesar and Jeff only. We've brought harmony in, but it's not coming in a big swell. It's coming in a simple existence of a bass note that does very little more than give us a harmonic root. It's just brilliant. And then the two singing together. Ugh.
those who help us most to grow, if we let them, and we help them in return. Well,
And I love that we have that. If we let them. These two characters who have been so at odds with each other, Elphaba and Glinda, who perform this song, have that moment there. If we let them. They both acknowledge the fact that they've let each other into their lives and realize the importance of that.
and we help them in return. Well, I don't.
And then we bring in these little moments of harmony. You get that lovely chord shift there. And then it just drops back out again for a second so that we can get this line from... I can't remember who sings this line in the show. Straight off the top of my head. But there's these little drop-ins of harmony that pull back out again. The effect that they're creating is so much more powerful, I think, than having harmony the whole way through this. It's not out of place to have these little things, the little moments, but you know, they're not. It's not like they're problematic. It's not like they make you feel like, oh God, what just happened? Really nice stuff.
In return. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I'm who I am today because I knew you.
And now I'm going to start crying again because this song always does that to me. I love what we have here. This shift going through this section.
That's true. And we help them in return. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know.
Just this thing. I don't know. And then for if I believe that's true, if I believe, we get this lovely harmony coming through, and then you get believe that's, and we go back into vocalizing again. The chorus doesn't sing believe that's true, and I really like that choice, just to leave that a little bit open, so that it's that sentiment has only come from Imani at this point.
Oh, I believe that's true, but I know I'm who I am today because I
Oh, and this choice to bring Rachel in on the lower harmony on Because I Knew You doesn't even have the I know I'm who I am today. And I love that sense that it's these two characters talking to each other, and it's impossible at that moment for both of them not to admit this to each other. I know I'm who I am today. Yeah, me as well. I know that too. And it's just, Jeff! It's so good!
Who I am today
Because I knew you. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun. Like a stream
The harmony in this is so gorgeous. I think this is the entry there that kind of turns this into more of this sort of pop ballad is really, really well done.
like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes.
And now we get this lovely blue and pink, but they're so much warmer than they were before. It's not this aggressive, punchy color anymore, and it's not this teal kind of coldness. There's a lovely warmth to what's happening here that really complements the music and the song and the emotion that's going on in this moment. Really, really nice stuff.
Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun. Like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood.
And I love what we have going on here. You have this lovely vocalization, and then halfway through the wood, we've met each other halfway now. That point is emphasized a little bit by that being the moment where the chorus comes in again. This is so lovely.
Boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better?
And I love now that we have this white light at the background, coming from behind them, backlighting them. It's kind of giving a little bit of oomph to this moment from a lighting perspective. Not really something we've had a lot of. There have been some brighter lights, but nothing that really kind of cuts through like this, and I think that's really cool as well. And of course, if you saw it front on, it would backlight the two ladies significantly more, and I think that's really, really powerful stuff.
Who can say if I've been changed for the better? I do believe I have been changed for the better.
This line I like particularly. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? Sung by the group.
If I've been changed for the better.
And then just the two of them sing I Do Believe It. It cuts back to that moment of the two characters. And I love that we have I do believe I have been changed for the better. But I love that they both cut away from that melody at different points and sing their own little riffy section.
I do believe I have been changed for the better. Because I knew you.
because I knew you.
Because I
And then this lovely harmonic reinforcement, because I knew. Lovely line just holding on underneath, just simply keeping this beautiful harmonic interest underneath this, but once again leaving perfect space for the soloists to just do their thing. And it's so important to this moment. I've been changed for good because I knew you, because you were in my life. And no matter what happens in the future, we don't see each other ever again. That is immutably a part of who I am now. And this song, this arrangement of this song.
Because I knew you.
And I love that we have all these moments. Caesar looking at Jeff. Rachel looks at Ellie for a second. Maybe an acknowledgement that Fiyero is also a part of this. Lovely, lovely sections here.
Because I knew you.
Because I knew you.
Because I knew you.
And then because I knew, all together, and then this lovely spread out into this rich harmony. So lovely.
I have been changed for the
And then I love that we don't linger on this one. This is one, it could have been over milked very, very easily, but it doesn't happen. You get the for good and over good. You're immediately going into unlimited, which is the beginning of Defying Gravity. Lovely, lovely choice. And we get "I hope you're happy" being quoted over the top of it too. This dissonant transition that we're going through right here, I actually think possibly Jeff hooked me into paying attention to this. I think it's hard to hear a voice like his for the first time and not kind of be like, "Wow, what's going on here? This is incredible." But this harmonic writing at this point made me stop and go, "Wait a minute, this..." Quite apart from the amazing, Theatre Kids of Acapella and all that kind of thing, and the incredible voices, this harmonic writing right here is unearthly. It's so beautiful.
I hope you're happy.
I
hope you're happy.
Unlimited. We have that this clashing sound, and then Ted pulls right back down again into tonic, like being so much more clean. This push and pull all the time.
I hope you're happy in the end.
And what just happened? My goodness, I don't have the words to describe how cool this all sounds. And the fact that it's this, "I hope you're happy, my friend," all these concepts, this is the closing song of Act 1. Also the most famous song from the show. It's a perfect song to close an arrangement on, but it's this big build-up. But I love that we've come out of this. It changes the context a little bit, coming into this out of For Good. Coming into that sense of, "I hope you're happy, my friend. We've just talked about how much we care for each other, and now we're going to go our separate ways," but in such a powerful way. I love this.
In the end, I hope you.
And I love that we have this Ted as our root note being supported by Jeff and the end of the Unlimited that's just come through. Ted, I hope, comes in on the minor 7th there, immediately gives us this really interesting harmonic contrast leading into this line.
Hope you're happy, my friend.
And then that immediate shift. Now, I do want to go back for 1 second and talk about how much I love this lighting too. We've gone back to that lovely warm orange-yellow ombre effect that's going on the back there. It's giving us so much sort of tonal interest against the teal that's come back to the front.
I hope you're happy, my
And
friend.
poof, green across the board. Where we started, the colour of, very much, I think, the colour of this song in some ways. But I love that it's just like full tilt. There is to the point where the green lights that are on stage, you see the beam coming through, but you can't even tell that they could be white almost, but there's so much green that you see the beam, but it just kind of merges into everything that's gone on in the background. Lovely stuff. And again, what a great silhouette at this point of the group against this background. So good. And I almost enjoy the fact that the doom, 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 doom is quite reserved, because it could be this crashing da 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 da, and it's not. It's being fairly held back and reserved at that point in time, and I think that's a really cool choice. And then this shift, so much good stuff going on here. I love that you have that very reserved beginning, and then you get this thing coming from Lane. And as we go da 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 coming through, this lighting shift that brings this powerful, you get the warmth in from the front, you suddenly get that bright backlight from behind again as we go into the "So If You Care to Find." Really good stuff. And I think that's such a great these slides back down again are so effective, and then right back up again. Lovely movement going on in the harmony, kind of giving us a lot of interest into what's happening. Really cool stuff. Jeff's line there, so interesting. Dum 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 dum. Like there's lots going on. He's not just keeping it steady. He's got that motion going again that he had earlier on, and it really keeps everything moving. Really, really nice stuff. Also, Rachel just absolutely bang on point for this one. So good. I get super excited about this entire thing. I love the harmony line that we have here. You got this ho, 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 very kind of punchy rhythm for a second, and then all of a sudden, bang on, everyone deserves the chance to. Absolutely no rhythmic interest whatsoever, except it's so punchy, it's rhythmic interest all of its own. And you get that everyone deserves the chance. She gives us that extra interest by going against the harmony. Such a clever bit of writing. I love that. Everyone deserves a chance to And I love the fact that it's such a good title for this medley, A Chance to Fly. And you get that, a chance to fly, and cut for a second, everything drops out. Such a punchy moment, gives us this lovely, what a great line, everyone deserves a chance to fly. And I love that we get the lighting change that goes with it. Everyone deserves a chance to fly. And we get this lovely moment of this green center in the back, just enough warm light at the front so that you can see what's going on and you can see clear details, but that brightness that we had a minute ago drops for just a second and then comes back in again. Lovely. I haven't talked so much about the camera work in this, even though I notice it a lot of the time, but it's so great how and they always do this, but the way that they have got the camera motion, the amount of motion that is happening, matched to the intensity of the music in that moment is fantastic. We get this lovely sweeping, constant cuts, constant movement, constant sweeping shots. Really, really effective. Oh, one other thing I really like here. I love that. Oh, really, really nice. And then you get this. Oops. And you get that flying free, that lovely little breath there just for a second, and then they hit free and they hold it. And what I love so much about that is we now get this E underneath the whole thing, leading to those who ground me. And I love that at that moment they cut out, take a message back from me. We're back into the E there as well. So the harmony has been leading, even though we have the to those who ground me, we have a me there as well. It's all leading to this upper message back from me. And the swap of the E from the chorus to Rachel at that point is a really nice bit of sort of vocal interest in terms of how they've used vowels to kind of lead from point A to point B. So much good stuff. Love the lighting that's going on at this point. I'm just going to say that and leave it at that because it's really cool. I really, really like some of the stuff that in this transition here. I love that we goes from Jeff's low note there. Mine aren't quite there today, but really, really nice change leading into this, opening things up. You get this rhythm from Lane, so we've got a little bit of like a kind of Tom Phil going on here that's happening with a rhythm that goes against that, but it's ever so slightly like going against what's happening in a really, really interesting way. Take a message And it's that cut off. It cuts off just before there's a momentary breath for tell them how. Lots of space being created the whole way through this arrangement. Really, really like that.
Back for me. Tell them how I am defined.
And then they're so good at broken arpeggios. Going on behind. What an absolutely fantastic accompaniment for this.
Flying gravity. I'm flying high.
And then that the fact that we go from what's the it's these nothing particularly aggressive, and then suddenly comes out of nowhere as like this complete change, and it keeps, there's so much interest at every level of this because they're always attracting your attention with something.
Gravity. I'm flying high, defying gravity.
And there, that harmonic line, wow.
I'm flying high, defying.
And is it? Are they singing I'm defy? I think might be what they're singing about that. I'm not 100% sure. I've never been quite certain of that.
I'm flying high, defying.
But I love that we just have that total pullback for the fi. Really, really lovely, lovely moment there. Just total shift, and it emphasizes how high that's pushing up. I'm defying gravity. So's the song. So's the chorus. Really nice.
I'm flying high, defying gravity, and soon I'll match them in renown. And nobody in all of us, no wizard that there is or
You could still be with the wizard creeping in there in the back when I meet the wizard again. Really, really love all the little things that are being dropped in here.
gravity, and soon I'll match them in renown. And
And what interests me is in all of this, like, big song, the grounding in, like, we've got even Lane at this point in time, like, this percussion is going crazy, and underneath it you've got a boom, 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 boom from Jeff. These just solid notes, just keeping time. Really simple and so effective. It could be so much busier, and he's chosen not to do that, and I love it.
gravity, and soon I'll match them in renown. And nobody in all
And then we get that shift. It's such a simple thing going to double the speed and offbeat. The syncopation, really nice stuff.
I'll match them in renown. And nobody in all of us, no wizard that there is or was, is ever gonna bring.
Oh, the shift here that we have between the two parts.
Wizard that there is or was, is ever gonna bring.
Ever gonna from Jeff.
No wizard that there is or was, is ever
Ever gonna.
gonna bring.
So Jeff's going down, the chorus is going up, everything's spreading out, creating a wider arrangement for this sort of final section. Lovely stuff.
Wizard that there is or was, is ever gonna bring me down.
And all these different melodies and lyrics happening on top of each other work so incredibly well. They really, really do. And that happens in the show as well. She's singing Bring Me Down up there, like high up above the stage. The chorus is underneath her singing in those gaps. While she's holding on notes, they're singing, they're filling in that gap, singing different lyrics. But it's the way that they've done it in this is fantastic because they're bringing in these elements of the meaning of the friendships in the show. And I love that so much. And then you get the No One Mourns the Wicked. I love that contrast so much because there's something has changed within me, Unlimited, is the beginning of Defying Gravity, right? But it feels, where I say it's bringing in the friendships of the show, it feels so much more intimate than singing No One Mourns the Wicked, which is condemning Elphaba, even as she's having this triumphant moment. And I really, really like that we go between those two things. And the No One Mourns the Wicked harmony is just stunning. an ending too. It's so good. I love that. And I love that we get this no one mourns the wicked. That shift on Wicked as well. And I love how long they leave her on that. And then we come in on these really crunchy chords for the You get the sub from Jeff. You get crazy high notes from Imani and Ellie and probably Caesar as well. Lane is singing. He's not providing percussion. We have a 6-part harmony at the end there. It's just this huge wall of sound. The flash of light that happens at that point. We get this bright white with the green. I mean, look at this! What a shot that is! And you get it for a flash of a second. Poof! And we're gone. That's brilliant. And I like, it's so great because you get this hit of this huge chord. And it could be a da 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 boom. But they don't do that. They cut it really, really quick. And I actually really like that decision because it's so punchy for the end of this outrageously cool medley. One more time on that, just because I want to. I'm curious. Sorry, I genuinely am actually curious now. Oop. Yeah, the ba da da. I think it's the da and the da are 1 beat each, and the da in the middle of it is 3.5. So the one full beat actually isn't that short for the end, but I love because it's following. I think it was 3.5. Oh, it might even be 4 full beats. Because it's following such a long note, it feels like it's just, it's there and it's gone again. Amazing stuff. Oh, I love this arrangement so much. Any song from VoicePlay probably would have hooked me into them, but I think that maybe with the possible exception of the Little Mermaid medley, I can't imagine something that would have done so more thoroughly than this specifically. Just because of what the music is, what it means to me in the first place, and then combined with how this is just like the ultimate a cappella medley for me. Really beautifully put together by Jeff, and the power of all 6 of them, the emotion that they managed to evoke in this. And I'm including Lane in this just because Lane isn't singing lyrics doesn't mean he doesn't help to evoke emotion too. Like, that's one of the other things that I think, a lot of people, and I include myself in that list, sometimes forget or underestimate is how much carefully chosen percussion sounds can influence the emotion of what you're hearing as well. You know, if it's a big kind of with lots of reverb on it, it's going to give you one thing, whereas at the end we have this that's quite tight and there's not a crazy amount of reverb on it. It gives a lot more pace, it gives a lot more frenetic nature. Like, that sort of thing really, really matters. As does the tone that Lane is producing. If it's more of a it's one thing. If it's a like, if there's more of a resonance to what he's doing in the first place, it's something else. And what a group, the 6 of them. Good Lord, that is extraordinary. I love it so very much. I hope that this is something you have enjoyed. This is obviously very different to what I'm doing, which is why I'm releasing it as a bonus video, not as one of my Fridays. But I hope that I wanted to do this because I really feel like not knowing, I look back at something like, okay, I mentioned it, so why not? The part of your world, Little Mermaid medley. I looked at that recording after I watched that bit of my original coverage of A Chance to Fly, and I was like, wow, one, I've come a long way, but also I just didn't know enough to do this the justice it deserved, and that's why I wanted to go back and revisit. So I hope that you've enjoyed this, and you've been able to take something from it that you haven't thought of before, that I didn't think of before, whatever it happens to be. But this is truly masterful. Thank you very much, especially if you're still here with me at the end. I really appreciate that. Please do like this video, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Why can I not talk today? And if you would care to support me, you can do so with a single donation of any amount at buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts. You can join my Patreon at patreon.com/DavidKReacts for $2 or $4 Canadian, whatever that changes to in your exchange rate. Or you can leave a super thanks here on YouTube. If you do join my Patreon, you will be joining these wonderful people who are hopefully up on screen right now. I'm going to get that out of the way so that they can show up properly. Who are already supporting me, and I am so grateful for their support. And it's, this isn't a job for me or anything like that. This is something I do because I love it. And so to have people who are genuinely, really appreciate what I do and want to support me in doing it is an incredible thing. I'm going to release a channel update at some point in the not too distant future, just to sort of talk about some of the cool stats that I've noticed over the last little bit as I've been hitting this milestone of 2 years of doing this and things like that. So that will be coming fairly shortly, and of course there'll be the regular video on Friday. But thank you so much for joining me for this special video and for celebrating my 2nd anniversary with me, because this is a really, really cool thing. And we also crossed 3,500 subscribers recently, and that's amazing. Most reaction channels would grow significantly faster than that, but my videos are long. Witness the fact we're pushing an hour and a half with this one. So I'm very grateful to everybody who spends their time with me. It means such a lot. So thank you very much for your continued support. And I'm really excited to see what year 3 brings. So yeah, this has been fantastic. I'll see you again very soon. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care of yourselves. Have an absolutely amazing rest of your day, morning, afternoon, evening, nighttime, whatever time it happens to be that you're watching this. I appreciate you so very much. Thank you. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.